Things are heating up in Apothecary Diaries, and I don't mean Jinshi's temperature. Things are heating up. What an interesting episode. Episode 35 of Apothecary Diaries. Things between Maomao and Jinshi are heating up. And I really badly want to talk about that preview for the next episode because we're not moving that fast, are we? We better not be moving that fast. I have always been mixed about Jinshi and Maomao's relationship. I think the writer has done a really great job of kind of keeping the two of them separated. It's always been about Maomao's perspective of what Jinshi is. She's always avoided trying to figure out exactly who he is, but assumes that he's a very important person because of what he's in charge of. This guy's really up there. He's important. They're inviting him to this whole party. He's got to be important. There's something special about him, but don't think about it too much because people that think about things like that get killed. She's always avoided trying to figure out who Jinshi is because she's afraid of what will happen to her. And I think that whole class system has sort of created a divide between the two of them. And so when it came to the idea of Jinshi and Maomao getting together, I've always kind of liked the fact that the writer wants to kind of keep that at pause. Yes, Jinshi seems to obviously like Maomao, but does Maomao ever want to acknowledge Jinshi? Would she ever? When it comes to that point where that barrier is broken, would she quickly accept him because he's a good-looking dude and he seems to take care of her? I don't see any reason why she wouldn't want to, but still, I have never seen sort of any affection that Maomao has for him. There's never been a thing of like, oh my gosh, I think I like him. It's never been there. And so my thoughts on their relationship has always had that block as well. But it seems like this episode, there seems to be a little bit more trying to push in that direction. Let's see if possibly once that barrier that Jinshi usually puts up is down, would Maomao like him? I like this little scene under this waterfall because it shows Jinshi not trying to be, put on an act in front of people. Those barriers are kind of coming down a little bit. And so I can see something happening here. But that preview, again, for those that missed it, there's a little shot in the preview for the next episode, episode 36, where it looks like he's on top of her and he's lifting up her leg. She's still clothed, but I'm like, what are we doing here? Stop. This is too fast in my opinion, too fast for these two. I want to see some affection from Maomao before we start going that direction. It's probably something like a misunderstanding. They're probably trolling us, but we'll see. But anyways, let's get into this episode proper. This episode has some absolutely beautiful shots. I don't like the fact that Maomao has such a distaste for her own body. I don't like that idea of a woman feeling that they are inferior or ugly in some way. And seeing Maomao kind of going, I should take this part off too, but he'll see my ribs. And it's unsightly. Even apologizing beforehand, I know I'm unsightly, but I have to take this stuff off because I'm going to get a cold. Girl, you're beautiful. Maomao, you're beautiful, girl. You're beautiful, girl. Anyways, let's get into the episode proper. I keep jumping ahead. Let's start from the very beginning, opening up with Jinshi and him talking to Gaoshun about setting up this whole hunting. Apparently, Lolan's father has invited not just Jinshi, he's invited Jinshi, but he also invited Gaoshun, which does imply that Gaoshun's family is important. They mentioned sometime later on the Ma family has always served the Kosen family, which I'm wondering who the Kosen family is. I don't think they've ever mentioned a Kosen family. I'm assuming the Kosen family might be the royalty. It might be Anshi, the empire. I don't think that's the empire's family name, but very interesting there. That could be what Jinshi is of that family, sort of a kind of disconnected by name, just so that people don't think that Jinshi is a part of the imperial family. But anyways, it seems like they're very important, so it's Gaoshun as well is invited there. And then, of course, Maomao is going to serve under Gaoshun, while, yes, Gaoshun's son is serving under Jinshi. But yes, very important is very brief flashback of a couple very key statements that was made. One being the idea of, if you're going to essentially dilute the royal family, why don't you choose her? There's one little brief shot of this guy saying, why don't you choose Maomao? And then jumping over to Anshi. Anshi mentioned the idea of those things that are precious to you, hide them. Keep them a secret, otherwise somebody's going to snatch them up. So it's obviously pointing out, okay, diluting the family, choosing a woman basically for the royal family, and then right here, hide something that's important to you. It's kind of a two-faced thing here of people basically saying, grab her now, get this girl now, but also a little looming threat there. I think there is a little bit of a looming threat there. Just like when that scene with Anshi happened, I was like, that's a little bit ominous there. That yes, somebody is going to see Maomao and come after her. And they're noticing that she's important to you. And if they know who you are, they will use her. So you need to snag her up now. I think this is an aspect of him realizing I need to stop dawdling around, stop dithering. I need to grab Maomao now, show her who I am,
and bring her into a relationship so that she can be protected. Right now, she's not protected, and she's important to me, and that'll be something that somebody will see. I think that's what's really coming to his mind right here. Because yes, he's deciding at this point, I need to tell her. I'm going to tell her. I'm going to reveal that secret to her, and we're going to do it at this hunting thing. So let's go there. Let's bring her with us. But in order to do that, Jinshi's got to get permission from Gyokyo. I absolutely adore how Gyokyo just absolutely teases the hell out of Jinshi. Whenever there's a scene with Gyokyo and Jinshi and Maomao somewhere nearby, Gyokyo is trying to push Jinshi, show your true thoughts. Speak her name. Say her name. It was funny because when they first brought this up, I thought Gyokyo was joking with Jinshi as the fact that he was coming there to look for somebody or bring somebody with him to be a poison tester. And I'll put somebody in that place. I want her. And I thought it was going to go into this whole joke about Gyokyo trying to push him to admit that he wants Maomao specifically. Like, Maomao's important and I want her to come with me. But no, it was just the fact that she wanted to get him to say the name. And I'm like, I never thought about that. That technique, it's so funny that has never dawned on me that yes, technically, he's always called her the Apothecary. Calls her Apothecary. It never refers to her as Maomao or her real name. Xiaomao. I never say her actual name, so I never remember it. Xiaomao or something like that. It's like one of those things that never has dawned on me. Oh, that's right. He's never said Maomao. He's never said her name. He always calls her the Apothecary. It's just so funny. But yeah, her just badgering. Who? Who are you talking about? Which person? You keep saying her. I don't know who you're talking about. And Maomao's over there like, why is he so flustered? What's wrong with him right now? Maomao's not getting it. But that's when we get into the Shihoku province. And this is cool because I love this world building stuff and the idea that, yes, this entire empire is in the country of Li. And in that empire, there's multiple, provinces. And they're specifically pointing out the idea that, yes, this flag, the symbol of Li, it's symbolized by having these blades of grass underneath. And this top part, obviously, is a symbol of the Empress Wangmu. And again, this is the goddess lady Wangmu, the one that we've talked about previously, the one that, kind of came from another country and was seen as a goddess and all this kind of stuff. But she was protected by 3 swords, 3 warriors that aided her. And the biggest one, the largest one, is Shihoku. So this is implying right here that Shihoku, which again is led by Lolan's father, this is the strongest of them, which kind of implies this idea of strength. Now, it does get into the idea that they're like very much so about, cultivating grains and whatnot. They have these vast mountains and everything like that. It does kind of show how strong this particular province is, which does technically go back to what we kind of originally brought up with Lolan, her coming in there and her father being kind of important. It seems like this guy has a lot of power. And we kind of seen that a little bit with Anshi's past sequence. When we're talking about Anshi and her coming in there, they were mentioning at some point that, yes, the current Empress Regnant, she was trying to bring in more girls for her son. And at some point, Shishou, Lolan's father, was like, no, that's not happening. We're not bringing in more people. So again, even then it was showing that in the face of the Empress Regnant, he was able to sort of say no to something. It shows that he does have power. And again, that was the whole thing about Lolan being brought in there. There's sort of a fear of him even touching Lolan because, yes, this guy's very powerful. It doesn't seem like the Emperor even wants to bed her. It seems to be like just for show. It almost implied the idea that Lolan's father kind of pushed her upon the Emperor just for show. But the Emperor can't touch her. It seems to be what they're implying there. I'm not sure exactly if that's what they're going for there, but it seems like that's what they're implying. Now, with this episode, it seems to be implying a little bit more to that I'm kind of curious about. And the idea that Jinshi and Gaoshun is being invited to a hunting party. And then when they arrive there, immediately they're given food and everything like that, and he's kind of keeping himself shut in there, obviously implying that Jinshi is not comfortable there. He's coming there because he was invited, and he can't say no, but he doesn't want to go out to the parties. He's not even opening up his windows. He's obviously showing here that he's not comfortable. It does seem like his life is at threat. But additionally, I think this might be a twofold thing. I don't think that Shishou is trying to kill Jinshi, because it kind of implies that with the whole meal. Like, they bring the meal and everything like that. She's tasting it, and she doesn't taste any poison. Yo, you can eat it. Why don't you eat it? No, I don't want to eat it. You want me to eat it? It seemed to imply the idea that the food itself obviously boosts stamina. And yeah, you can claim that's for the hunt that's coming up. They have to have a lot of stamina. No, they're talking about stamina now. And how it's completely messing with Gaoshun's son. I think it's trying to go for the idea that Jinshi wants to stay in there, but the idea was for him to go out and party and bring women in. I almost think that Shishou is after Jinshi to bed somebody there. I think he's trying to get him to gain favor of him, basically. Get in nice with him, essentially. And so that kind of does sort of, again, tether for me in my brain to the whole situation that's going on with the Emperor and Lolin. I think Lolin's father knows that Jinshi is the rightful leader. And I think he's just going along with everything. And that's why he sends Lolin, but he doesn't want really Lolin to bed with the Emperor. He wants to get to Jinshi. I think Shishou is going for Jinshi. He's trying to gain favor of him because he knows he's the actual rightful ruler. That's where I think that's going. But again, I think there's another issue here, which of course is what's going on with somebody trying to kill Jinshi. Somebody else knows, and they're trying to kill Jinshi. I don't think Shishou is after him. Now, it could be a side gig. He could be having somebody else try to kill him at the same time. But I think there's two things happening. There's a faction that's trying to kill Jinshi because they know who he is. And then there's Shishou who's just trying to get in chummy with Jinshi, or at least get him to bed somebody. I don't know. It didn't show Shishou sending anybody to Jinshi to bed him, but it kind of implied the idea of the food there was seemingly something that Jinshi doesn't want to eat, and Maomao's not getting why he doesn't want to eat it. Anyways, that's all kind of very interesting to me. But yeah, like I said earlier, we had this kind of brief moment where Gaoshun's son's like, wait, she doesn't know. Gaoshun's like, no, she doesn't know. Don't say it. He's like, well, why don't we just no, don't say anything. It's like Gaoshun's son's like, just tell her. Like, what's the problem here? Like, if he wants her in the know, like we are, then just tell her. No, don't. You're doing things wrong. Let Jinshi handle it. Like, Gaoshun's all about the idea of like, just let Jinshi do it how he wants to do it. But no, that whole bit with the poison tasting was great. Her just loving the food. Like, all this stuff is great, except for the turtle. Everything's just tasty. Why don't you eat it? It's for you. He's like, you really want me to eat it? I mean, it's for you, and it's not poison. What's the problem? Gives it to his Gaoshun's son. He just goes over there. He's like, why the heck is this not bothering her? I'm going to go to my room. It kind of implied the idea of an aphrodisiac or something being in the drink, but she didn't mention it. I would assume that she would have mentioned there was something in there. It was just an alcohol. Get a little brief shot of Maomao taking a luxurious bath. That girl was probably loving that. This girl, like, again, she's technically been living in a shed for a while now, but this girl, like, enjoying this nice, luxurious bath and room. But anyways, they go to travel for the hunt, and we get some little brief moment where, you know, Maomao's being bored because everybody else is handling everything. She's basically there as sort of a servant and bodyguard to Gaoshun, not necessarily do all that other work. At some point runs into Lihaku, who's guarding a dog apparently, which, you know, let's just flag the fact that later on she whistles for the dog, that it kind of insinuates that, yeah, they're probably gonna get saved by the dog. It's like the only reason they brought up this Lihaku guarding a dog is just so that we know that later on they get saved by a dog being called to them. I mean, it did kind of imply the idea of Lihaku sort of not fitting in with the other guards, the fact that they're treating him, you know, arrogantly or whatever, but it was a cute little bit. But that all leads into Jinshi getting to the point where he gets dehydrated. He's at the party. He's not doing very well. He's wearing a mask to cover up his identity, and he's super heated up. He's got to get out of there. I guess the fact that he's wearing a mask there, everybody should know who Jinshi is. But it kind of makes me believe that he's trying to cover up his identity because he was invited not as Jinshi, ? I don't know. That seemed kind of the odd thing there. It kind of implies to me that Jinshi is not known to the public outside of the rear palace and everything like that. It seems like what they're going for there. But now Maomao chases after him. He doesn't want to take off his mask because somebody might see them out there. She takes him over the river, decides to give him some water there. And just before he goes to tell her who he is, somebody tries to shoot him. Two people try to shoot him, and Jinshi grabs her and jumps off the waterfall before having to give her mouth to mouth. It's so sad. That's like one of those things about how there's such little interaction between characters. A kissu, a mouth-to-mouth kissu is huge, but they didn't even point it out. I'm kind of surprised they were very kind of mature about that. There was no like, oh, did you kiss me? I had to give you mouth-to-mouth. Oh my gosh, that was my first kissu. Didn't even care. It's like he had to revive her. I see from Maomao's perspective, she's not going to care because she knows from a medical perspective, she would technically accept something like that and not see it as anything more than that. But I kind of would see Jinshi being all flustered about it, but he didn't even do anything with it. So again, it's all about girl is dying. I got to save her. Put that aside. Let's handle this maturely like. But that doesn't keep the rest of the scene from being heated up though, because Maomao has to take off everything and wring it out. It was interesting though, because it points out the fact that Maomao apparently can't swim. She said that she just can't swim in a situation like that with a waterfall, with the current, the water coming down, pushing it around. that's not something that she can swim to, but it kind of implies the idea that she can swim. But yeah, she takes off her clothes. And again, I just, my heart breaks for this girl right here. She's like, you know, sorry that it's unsightly. And she's obviously apologizing because she believes that Jinshi is going to be offended. But it's aspect of like, girl, you're not unsightly. This girl just does not think that she's appealing. And it's one of those aspects of, yes, technically Maomao growing up, she was around a bunch of very beautiful women. These are like the premier princesses of this area. Like, they were so gorgeous. And now she's literally in the rear palace where she's surrounded by more beautiful women. She's surrounded by concubines personally selected by the emperor himself. Like, every woman that's around him is gorgeous. And so she's not going to see herself as beautiful. And so it does make sense to me that, yes, when she has to take off her clothes, you know, wring them out, she's like, no, I'm going to leave the apron and this cloth on because it's unsightly. My ribs and everything is unsightly. I'm not beautiful, basically. And it's like I said before, it's freaking heartbreaking because, girl, you're beautiful. Girl, you're beautiful. But no, I love it because she turns to Jinshi and he's all flustered. She's like, you want me to help you with yours? He's like, no, I can handle it myself. And she's like, here, let me take this. He's like, no, I'm better at this. I'm stronger. I can wring this stuff out. She's like, good. He's back to his old self. He's being his old, flustered, goofy little self. And that's when we get to the most beautiful shot in this entire episode. I just love that so much. She's looking for something to give him to help him out. She's looking for medicine. It's all soaked. And eventually finds some butterbur, and she decides to offer that to him. Gorgeous shot. Walking up there. You know, you got to have that subtle shot of what the feet kind of just nudging up. Like, she's got to go tippy-toe to get up to him, check his temperature. Absolutely beautiful with the waterfall in the background. That frontal shot, you know, looking at her as she's holding the stuff. It's like, oh, again, Maomao, you're beautiful. It's okay, girl, you're beautiful. I just love the hair, too. They have to go for the whole Maomao cute cat girl ear kind of fake thing with the hair. But no, I love it because, like, right after giving him some of the stuff, explain that he needs to hydrate himself. He's getting headaches and stuff like that. You need to eat this. Her belly growls. He's like, you should have some too. And she's just like, goes in the cat mode again. Just jar away, snatch it. Girl's so cute. But now that's when they get into some discussion about what happened. Of course, 2 guns went off. That, yes, this is kind of a time period where, yeah, this is kind of an unknown thing, using gunpowder to project things. It takes time to put together. These are like single shots before you have to kind of prepare the whole system again. It's not like it's full of a clip of ammo. It's something that you have to prepare. And so it does imply with that rapid succession of shots, we're not talking about just one person with a gun. This is multiple people. And so it does kind of imply the idea this is a very, you know, elaborate plan here. Somebody had to have gotten their hands on multiple weapons, and these are weapons that are, you know, military things. This is not something that anybody has access to. So it does obviously imply that somebody very seemingly powerful is behind this. Somebody has access to something. And of course, Maomao was talking about grudges. Like, girl, you're like basically a bad area for Jinshi to be in. Somebody wants him dead. And they know that he's there. And that's the other thing there. That's obviously the other thing there. It's not just the fact that multiple guns are present, but it's the fact that somebody knows Jinshi's there. And would imply they know who Jinshi is. Which, again, I don't think it's going to be Lulin's father. I don't think it's going to be Shishou. I think it's going to be somebody that is close to him and is pulling the strings. I don't think Shishou's after him. I think he's trying to gain favor of Jinshi, if anything. But then again, showing that favor and being very hospitable and bringing him in there and giving him lots of food and bringing him to the hunt could be all him showing publicly that he's doing well with him, but then secretly somebody takes him out. But again, publicly nobody knows who Jinshi is, so what would even be the point of that? Except for strictly in the eyes of the emperor, who would know who he is. But anyways, they go to look for a way out. They find a crack. Again, Maomao whistles. Again, that pretty much right there. Yeah, she's going to call for the dog. They're going to be down there with whatever's happening right now at the end of this episode. They're going to be getting into something or talk about something, and then suddenly a dog's going to be barking, and then there's Lihaku, like, standing looking down. But no, he goes to prop her up, and she's like, I can't use him as a footstool. Well, what would Siren do when she finds out? It cuts to Siren, and she's literally, like, chuckling about it, like she likes it. But no, pushes her up there. A frog jumps on her face, and because it's Maomao, I love this. A frog jumps on Maomao's face, and she doesn't screech and just panic because it's Maomao. She's just like, get off, dude. She doesn't even panic about it. But no, she loses balance, falls on Jinshi, apologizes, goes to get up, and he won't let her up. Jinshi, what are you doing, my girl? Jinshi, what are you doing, my girl? Will not let her go. I don't know. I really don't. I'm assuming this next episode is going to be finally the moment that Jinshi finally tells her. I don't see why we would build this much up and have so many moments where he can possibly tell her and he doesn't tell her. Because again, at this point, we've had like, I don't know, like 3 moments where it seemed like he wants to say something, but he chooses not to, or he fears that. Again, we've had plenty of times of Maomao trying to figure it out, but then she stops herself because she doesn't want to question things. If this is not public, if people don't know who he is, I don't want to find out who he is because it's probably going to get me killed. I'm going to know his secret that I'm not supposed to know about, and I'm dead. That kind of stuff. But Jinshi right here, especially having this one brief moment just before they got fired at, that he literally was about to say it, and then right here, he's got the moment, he's got her in his hands, not to say it is going to frustrate me. Honestly, if he doesn't say it at the beginning of the next episode, it's going to start frustrating me. But yeah, I can kind of see that. I can see him possibly going to say something, and then at that point admitting that he likes her. I'm hoping the dog doesn't interrupt it. Please don't have the dog interrupt the conversation. I don't want something to happen between the two of them. And again, I'm really stuck on that brief shot in the preview of the next episode where it looks like he's lifting up her leg while she's on her back. Please don't go that fast. Unless Maomao's like, yes, I've always loved you, Doki Doki, and I just never internalized it. I don't want it to move that fast. Again, I've yet to see Maomao sort of show like some sort of love towards Jinshi. She's been flustered here or there. She's been thrown off by him here or there, but it's never been a thing like I like you. So to insinuate what he's doing there bothers me a little bit. It could just be an aspect of like he sees something down there and he goes to grab it or whatever. But I really do hope at the beginning of the next episode he at least says who he is, just to get that finally out of the way. He could at that point again say that she is special to him and that he wants her to be at his side. I don't think it's going to go that far. I think he's just going to reveal who he is, but I don't think he's going to say that she's special and that he wants her at his side. Because again, that's what they're essentially establishing that he wants to do at the beginning of this episode. It seems like based on those 2 flashbacks, that there's an establishment that he wants to choose her, that he's going to have somebody in his future, that somebody will bear his children. Why not be Maomao? And additionally, keep the things that are special to you close, hide them, because somebody's going to get them. And right here, we just had a threat of death. He's going to want to protect her. She's in danger if somebody finds out that she's special to him. Or could it go the route that based on those 2 flashbacks, he decides that he wants to push her away? I don't think that's the case. It could be. It could be at some point he realized that I have to push her away. But I think she's too special to him. And yes, additionally, she's useful. She's very, very smart. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. As per usual, in the comment section. I don't need answers. It's a speculation time, but man, the wait for next week is going to suck. This stop point sucks. This cliffhanger sucks. But we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed my impressions of this episode. If you did, make sure to hit the like button down below. Comment again. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Don't tell me what you think, what's going to happen if you know what's going to happen. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Like this content, you want to support channel more. I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, you'll take care.